Hello and welcome to Powerline TV. I'm your host Nandita Kochar from India Infrastructure Publishing. We are starting a special video interview series to bring you fresh content to your homes during the COVID pandemic. Each episode will feature the views and perspectives of top industry leaders on how they are coping, realigning strategies, and doing business in a COVID-19 world. For our first episode, we have with us today Mr. Saurabh Kumar, Managing Director of EESL. Mr. Kumar is a power sector professional with many years standing. He has done a lot of very interesting and impressive work over the past many decades, most notably in the areas of affordable LED lighting, energy efficiency, and e-mobility. A very warm welcome to you, Mr. Kumar, and thank you for being with us today. So let me jump to the question that is topmost on our minds today. How has COVID-19 changed the narrative for the power sector? And what, according to you, are some of the biggest disruptions that have been caused by it?
Well, Nandita, thank you so much for inviting me on this show. I think three things that we now see very clearly coming out is the realization, not just in the power sector, but across sectors, that we now need to do things very differently than what we have been doing in the past. What we have seen is a massive financial crunch that has hit the distribution utilities, and to the extent that 90,000 crores are being dispersed. But if you look at the intent of the government while disbursing this, and I must say that I've been in the sector for nearly 2 decades, I've never seen that kind of intent ever. This is linked with conditions precedent on reforms, and notably, reforms means to begin with smart meters and many other things that it talks about. Number two, tranches are linked to actual progress on reform. Now, this is something which is absolutely welcome, and something that we really would compliment the Ministry of Power and the Government of India for putting in this sense of urgency in terms of correcting ourselves in the power sector like never before. The second thing that we have seen is renewable energy actually with storage now competing with the grid. We had a 2 rupee 90 round the clock power that has been come in the auctions. There are several ways in which you can integrate battery storage with renewable energy, make it not just affordable, but also widely prevalent across various sectors. So if you ask me, the disruption essentially would favor clean energy as we move ahead. B, it will bring in the kind of urgency and expediency in the reform process in the distribution sector. That is something which has been lagging for a very, very long time. I mean, there's no way that the sector can now progress without actual reforms to make these distribution companies commercially and financially viable.
So has there been any impact of COVID-19 on EESL's business? If so, how is the organization coping with it?
Number one, I think it has, okay. I'll try and answer this question in the actual ways and how this would impact, because it is aligned to what I just said in the previous question. Now, as you know, we've done about 1.2 million smart meters in the country. And the New Delhi Municipal Corporation utility, which is the New Delhi area, is completely on smart meters. And so is about 1 million meters in UP. The entire South Delhi, New Delhi Municipal Corporation, the 95% of meters have been, the bills have been generated based on actual reading, and collections have also happened. I know this because I'm also one of the resident of that area. I have been getting bills regularly as I was before COVID. In UP, the 1 million smart meters, we have generated 96% bills based on actual consumption. Whereas for the others, the UP government has decided to give provisional bills based on last month's consumption. We have utilities like BSES and NDPL and TPDDL asking people to do a self-read of their meters. So it has very clearly shown that smart meters are the way to go, not just in terms of increasing billing efficiency, but also in times like these where you can't have a physical meter reading and a contactless kind of this has generated much more interest on smart meters. In fact, I just came back from a meeting in Delhi government where they are looking at smart meters in a big way. We have now, post this, have requests from several other states, including J&K, West Bengal, etc. We have continued our work because we manage about 1.1 crore streetlights in the country. We have about 8,000 people on the field who are maintaining the streetlights. And I'm very happy to report that our work during this pandemic has been, nothing really has changed. We have tried to make sure that we are giving best possible service to urban local bodies, to distribution companies, and to many others.
Talking about smart meters, are you satisfied with the progress made so far in the rollout of smart meters under the SMNP? And what are some of the challenges that remain unaddressed?
There will always be challenges, given that a very new thing has come up. And smart meters are not just hardware. It is an entire ecosystem which takes time. It has challenges in virtually every utility. I'm not talking about any other challenge. The only challenge is this process has to be automated, from the meter reading right up to the connection with the billing software. Most platforms in the utilities are at different software, so getting them all into a standard thing is always a challenge. But as I said, we have been successfully dealing with these problems. In fact, in Bihar, you may be surprised to know there are 25,000 consumers who are on prepaid smart meter, and during the pandemic, that prepaid functionality continued without any disruption.
I would like to talk a little bit about the energy efficiency market. EESL has played a definitive role in transforming the country's energy efficiency landscape. What role do you feel can energy efficiency play in the current scenario?
Honestly speaking, quite a lot. And this is one resource which has been underutilized in the country. Now, if we have always looked at supply side, whether it is renewable energy or it is thermal energy or any other form of energy. We have not looked at so closely and given it the attention it deserves as to what constitutes the requirement of new power plants, whether it is renewable energy or thermal energy. It is really at the disaggregate level, the equipments, appliances that you and I use or the businesses use, fans, air conditioners, other equipment. So not a lot focus has been made on this, but we are now renewing our focus. And for example, if you look at Delhi peak demand, we just saw in the morning, will possibly be about 20% more than what it was earlier. The demand is already picking up. And therefore, what do you need to do? How do you make sure that the demand does not go in a exponential direction? By making sure that you have the highest efficiency class of air conditioners, fans, lighting used by all sets of people. And that's a program that we are working on a super efficient fan and a super efficient air conditioner.
There has been a lot of interest in the e-mobility space of late. What are the next steps planned with regard to setting up EV charging infrastructure?
So we responded to the expression of interest that the Department of Heavy Industry came out with about 6-7 months ago. And we have been awarded over 1,000 public charging stations in about 10 cities to begin with in the first round. We have already made the procurements. And as soon as this lockdown ends in most of the parts and we start installation of these charging stations, we would like to have, as a company in the next 2 to 3 years, we have plans to install nearly 10,000 public charging stations across the country, just to make sure that there is enough from our side for people to adopt electric mobility.
Great, so we can look forward to seeing many more EVs on Indian roads over the next few years. Coming to my next question, what are your key priorities and focus areas for EESL in the medium to long term?
We are looking at 3 areas very, very closely. One is integrating solar at a decentralized level with batteries and providing kind of round-the-clock power at the demand side itself. Number 2 is, as I said, a set of super efficient air conditioners and super efficient equipments. Third, of course, is smart meters that I talked about. And e-mobility, particularly charging stations, is what we are rolling out at the moment, wherever we possibly can.
And finally, what is your big picture view for the power sector? What is your outlook for it, and what should be the key priorities to help it recover from the current crisis?
I think if you see, most of it has already been laid out in the announcements that have been made last week. Number one, smart meters, prepaid smart meters. Now, why these are important? Let's look at the hard numbers. Look at the latest report from the Power Finance Corporation about the financial health of utilities. The billing efficiency is 83%. Now, 17%, which is not billed, constitutes 200 billion units of electricity. At an average rate of 5 rupees, it's about 100,000 crores, more than the package that has been unveiled. So first thing is to plug this financial gap. The second thing that we see is more and more renewable energy, particularly decentralized basis, looking at sectors like agriculture. The Kusum scheme is a notable scheme in that direction, where you are able to provide low-cost power, more importantly, power during the day to farming sector. And therefore, the enormous amount of subsidies that are going into the sector also reduces the losses. For example, for a utility to provide power to agriculture, the actual cost of supply is somewhere around 7 rupees. They are paid subsidy at 3 rupees per unit. So there's a complete 4 rupee losses that the discoms have to bear. Uncovered losses, because only 3 rupees coming from the government. If I have power at 3 rupees, which we are giving to Maharashtra at this point in time, it's a financial victory for the distribution company. And third, you have to reduce the gap between peak and off-peak power. And the way you can do it is by incentivizing super efficient and efficient appliances like lighting, your air conditioning, fans, and so on and so forth. So this is what we feel the power sector is moving towards. And most notably, with the inclusion of electric mobility, I think we are on a major transformation towards clean energy as we move ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Kumar, for joining us today. This has been a truly informative and insightful discussion. And viewers, thank you for watching us from your homes today. We look forward to your joining us again next time. From all of us here at Powerline TV, we hope you stay safe and stay well. Thank you.
Thank you very much.